In my best estuary English, politicians don't make me laugh. And that's something that one tried maybe to do yesterday. We spoke to the West Midlands MEP who was about to make her comedy debut at the Edinburgh Fringe. Nikki Sinclaire, the We Demand a Referendum MEP for the region, was more than a little nervous, I think it's fair to say, about performing at the largest arts festival in the world, I think.
Yeah,
certainly in Europe. It's huge. Her show was described as a light-hearted, satirical and poignant look at the European Union. This was how it started.
So, I'm Nikki Sinclaire, I'm a member of the European Parliament, and this was supposed to be a joke, and people have turned up.
Supposed to be a joke, but people had turned up. Well, let's catch up with her now to see how it went. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how did you feel about yesterday?
Oh, it went okay. As I said, I was amazed how many people turned up.
How many? How many were there?
I think it's somewhere between, I don't know, about 24, 27, somewhere like that. Oh. And the average audience in Edinburgh is about 6.
That's really good.
So you're 4 times more popular than average in Edinburgh.
Yeah, thanks for writing the press release for me. That's good, yeah.
There you go. Job done. Have you read any reviews yet?
No, because to be honest, afterwards, the adrenaline was just pumping. So we went out last night. Yeah, so I didn't really read anything, just having a good time, went to the BBC tent, saw loads of artists there. Just had a good time last night.
Would you do it again?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's a career option for me, honestly. Maybe I would, but, not something proactively going to be moving towards.
I watched as much of it as I could this morning because you put it up on YouTube, and we can't play any more of it 'cause it's a bit more difficult to hear when we can't see you saying it.
Yeah.
But there didn't seem to be many obvious jokes in it.
Well, no, as I say, it was kind of observational humour, things I see in the Parliament, people that I come across in the Parliament, have had experiences with, and that type of thing. So that was the humour. It was always supposed to be like that, but it got quite a lot of laughs.
It did, and the audience, because often I would imagine if you go to a meeting or a political rally or you're doing some hustings or something, you might imagine that, given that you describe yourself as the We Demand a Referendum MEP, you would get people there who demand a referendum and sympathise with your political views. Was it like that last night?
No, not at all. And the act itself wasn't really supposed to be political. I said my view or whatever, but I wasn't certainly preaching my political position. I was just explaining the situation as I find myself in the Parliament and the people that I come across. So no, it wasn't. I spoke to some of the people afterwards. There's some pro-Europeans there, some Eurosceptics there, and they just turned up to see this sight of a politician trying to be funny. Trying.
Yeah, I was going to say politicians doing funny things seems to happen all the time, but maybe they're not trying.
Exactly.
The thing is, though, I mean, you described at one point, a fellow MEP as a village idiot, and that got a laugh.
Yeah, well, it was Godfrey Bloom.
And so, on that basis, obviously you have a political viewpoint, you have a message that you're trying to get across. Was that part of it, or was it that you fancied a go at stand-up?
Well, I think I said yesterday I was a fan of Edinburgh, so I've always fancied a go at it, not to do it properly, but it's ticking the list. But of course, when you're a politician, you've got views on everything, and one of the things about the European Parliament, if I get slightly serious for a second, is that people don't know it, they don't understand it, they don't know what people do there, and that's really frustrating because probably 3/4 of the MEP, 765, I think it is MEPs now, don't do any work. And it's really infuriating. Some of the people I admire most in the European Parliament are people that are completely opposite of my opinion, very pro-European, but at least they work. And some of the people that are very near me in my political position don't do any work, and they really annoy me. And, the more we understand about the European Parliament, the better I think it would be.
See, I suppose there is an argument, isn't there, that the biggest joke about the EU is that there are Eurosceptic politicians in it. who are trying to bring it down from within.
Well, as I said, the very first time I got elected, I was desperately trying to make myself redundant and make every other UK MEP redundant as well, because we cost £2.1 million every year each, and I think that's a colossal waste of money. £53 million a day the European Union cost us. But, if I wasn't there as a Eurosceptic MEP, you'll probably have a very pro-European MEP, making more laws that probably your listeners certainly don't want.
In terms of Edinburgh, have you been before as, let's put it bluntly, I was going to say as a punter, but spectator's a much nicer way of framing it. Thank you. I'll write your press releases, you can write my questions. How's that?
Yeah, that's a good trade. Yeah, I have. I mean, it's, I love stand-up.
So how different is it being there as a performer?
Oh, completely different. I mean, it's a very nerve-wracking thing. But, I've obviously watched a lot of shows, and, I do feel for some of the artists now. Sometimes when you're just a spectator and you go there, and you see someone fall flat on their face. We saw someone the night before I performed completely fall flat on his face, and you kind of go, oh, God. You really want it, you want it to be different. So I now have an appreciation. It's not that easy. It's very difficult to stand up and speak about anything, first of all, but to have that responsibility of being entertaining, that's an incredibly difficult thing to do.
It's that whole thing, that expectation of, right, I've come to see you, make me laugh. Very difficult.
But we did raise about 33 quid for Help for Heroes. People put money in the bucket when they left.
That's good to know. Thanks for talking to us this morning, Nikki Sinclair.
By the way, if people want to see it, they can log on to www.notfunny.eu.
OK, thanks for that. Nikki Sinclair, West Midlands MEP for the We Demand referendum.